there's no checklist that says if we do these things, that's good enough. We're good on AI. We're successful in the market. We have, experienced the positive benefits of like AI, and there's no way to say we're not exposed at all. And this kind of gets into the mythos conversation. So if you haven't read the press release and you haven't looked at the kind of media coming out around it and what the board is thinking about kind of conversations, Mythos is the new kind of Claude model come out from Anthropic. OpenAI actually just released another model as well. There's kind of international media attention to this. The AI Safety Institute in the UK has published benchmarks on both of them as like a government research group doing that sort of thing. And what they said in the press release for Project Glasswing, which is the 12 companies, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, CrowdStrike, Cisco, et cetera. If I didn't name them, it's not because I don't like them. It's fine. But they got together with Anthropic and they said, we're all going to band together to launch a model, Claude Mythos. And that model can do vulnerability discovery and find initial access points to to different applications and toolkits and whatever. We're finding bugs that have been sitting around for 27 years, et cetera. We can do it at a speed and at a rate and at a volume and that is unprecedented. And we're not going to release this live because there's just too much concern we have that this will be a problem for folks at large. So us 12 companies, we're going to do this together. The thing about it that some people catch on to, some people don't, but your board definitely should be kind of aware of is that one of those organizations was JPMorgan Chase. JPMorgan Chase is a systemically important financial institution. And when you look at kind of the public trading and the kind of connection between how things work, the Security Exchange Commission reporting that public companies do, right? The next day after Glasswing was announced, the Fed and the Federal Reserve and the Treasury called a bunch of the kind of bank leadership to Washington, D.C. to have a conversation about what we should do next. And for those who don't kind of like live and breathe the policy side, the kind of simple thing there is that's a sign that they're taking it seriously. So there's been a good amount of reporting through different outlets that focus on the financial sector about like what that means and what's going on. And you can look at the financial services sector particularly as kind of an indicator of where there's real governmental concern in certain places around risk management. They're quite proactive there. But when you see an announcement like this come out and you look at the 12 companies that made it up, it's a systemic bank. It's a total of, that we mentioned the S&P 500, and they're about 80% of the market cap is held by these companies. If you look at the amount of the market capitalization in the United States, and your board cares about this deeply, most likely, like about a third of the S&P 500's market cap is held by those 12 organizations. So between that sort of thing and the fact that it was also included a systemic bank, and there was response from the kind of financial regulators and global organizations are concerned about it. There's reports that maybe there's even been leaks and that sort of thing. This is quite concerning for executive leaders, even outside the risk space, because they don't know what's going to happen next. And again, we're talking about really one capability, vulnerability discovery. We're talking about the ability for AI tools to find vulnerabilities in software and in hardware as well. But generally speaking, that's just one thing the adversaries do. It's not everything. It doesn't mean put a full stop on every other security activity. And so when you're talking to your board, you need to be thinking about, like, we're not going to throw the entire baby out with the bathwater and say, this is the only thing we care about. But